welcome to Better with Age. I'm your host, Lauren Lingell, and in studio with me we have Dr. Fran Morris. Dr. Fran, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you here, and we're going to be talking about Mind Your Memories, and
That's
is
right.
a cause and an organization near and dear to your heart.
Yes, it is.
But tell me how you kind of got into that, because your background is all in higher education.
Right. And when you learn, which is what higher education is all about,
Right.
you're making memories.
Mm-hmm.
So then in working with people to evoke old memories, I just reverse what I've been doing all these years and use some of the same techniques in a different way. Besides my coursework, I've been in higher education I have spent at least 40 years in higher education, and some of that in the classroom at University of Kentucky and some with graduate students at Union Institute. But I've also been in administration, and the part that I really enjoy though, and no matter what I was doing, I'm always asking why, and makes me research, you know, and I guess that's a part of the PhD, is the research part. I was.
So where did you start in your career path? Like, I mean, obviously you were teaching, but you got onto the study of people and how their brain function kind of goes to sleep a little bit. How did
Right.
you stumble upon that?
Well, I had a company called Help Advocates for Seniors, and I was working with people with seniors who were having different kinds of issues with people take care of seniors, take advantage of seniors, you know.
Oh, yeah.
There's scam artists, there's fraud, there's identity theft, and I had been working with some people and had had some wonderful success with them, and wanted to expand the company. And in order to do that, you've got to be able to reach out and tell folks about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to independent living facilities, and because you've got a lot of people living there that could use you, and you know, I really want to help people. That's what it's all
Right.
about. And so I wanted to get in there and talk to them, but the only way you could do that I found was through activities directors usually. And they didn't want you to just come in and say, hey, I'm great and wonderful. They wanted you to come in and entertain, you know, the old song, let me entertain you.
You're right.
Well, that's what we had to do. So we had to have a dog and pony show, is what I call it, to entertain the residents.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could also have your literature out, and you could tell them a little bit about how great and wonderful you are. And I was invited to come and speak to people in a memory unit. And the only reason I accepted the invitation was because I was told that their family would be there, and they were also inviting people from the community. So I said, okay, let me go and talk to these people.
Right.
And they had asked me to talk about one of the dog and pony shows, and it's called Who Wants a Saggy Brain?
Well, not me, if it's anything like my cheeks or something else.
Well, well, that's the very reason it's so popular, because people can relate to that. You know,
Yeah.
if everything else is sagging, who wants a brain to sag too?
Right.
And it actually involved using some unusual brain exercises that I had found in doing some research to have a topic to discuss with people. So I went to the memory unit, and I was expecting to have all these wonderful family members sitting there beside their loved ones, and I walked in with all of my things to stimulate their brains.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting family members like you know, and we could really interact. And I got there, and I had an audience of 28 people. So I got there, and you have people who, you know, they have repetitive behaviors. They walk around a lot, or a lot of them, I mean, they'd had their dinner, they're sitting there asleep, you know. And these are the people that I'm supposed to
Dog and pony show
dog
for.
and pony show for. So, you know, as I said before, I believe in prayer, and I said, dear God, you've got to help me with this one. I can't do it. And I just did the best I could with it, and I really didn't pay attention to what was going on around me because I was so concentrated on those people and wanting them to be able to do the things that I wanted them to do. And when we were done, I realized there were all kinds of staff members in there where we were, you know, when I came out of the fog, and the administrator was there, and she said, Dr. Fran, I cannot believe what you got out of these people. And I said,
Snores.
and I was really surprised. She said, I didn't know they had this in them.
Right.
So I said, oh, there's something more to these
Right.
than I thought there was. And it's
Something-
more to it than just a dog and pony show.
Something going
So
on you didn't
hadn't
see.
thought about.
Yeah.
So the old researcher in me went back, and I spent many, many nights till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And for some people that may not be that late, but for me, I get up at 4 o'clock every morning. I'm a very early bird.
God bless you.
I get up and I work. And, you know, but it was just a passion. I had to figure this thing out. And I went back and I used a lot of the principles I had used in my different courses and in my experience along the way, and some of my experimenting with what works best to get students to perform. And I came up with a model. The brain exercises that we use exercise the different senses. And we have 5 senses. And so I can look at you, and that'll help me to remember them. We have
Okay.
the sense of vision, sense of smell, sense of taste, hearing, and feel.
Okay.
So with these brain exercises, when you stimulate any one of the senses, each of those 5 senses have a special place in the cortex of the brain, which is the outer covering of the brain, kind of like the rind of a grapefruit.
Okay.
And if you stimulate one little cell, one little neuron, then it's like a domino effect. It's like it says, oh, she woke me up, wake you up, you know, and
Right.
it just goes across. And it doesn't just stop in that sensory area of the cortex, but it keeps going, and it wakes up these cells that have been asleep.
Programs like that, are those just for people who are already experiencing memory loss or some type of memory disorder like Alzheimer's, dementia, or are those more for people who kind of think they're starting to lose some of their memories or being more forgetful?
Well, you know, the baby boomers are a big segment of our population, about 25% of the population now, and there's 10,000 new baby boomers every day. And as I'm speaking to different groups, or as I'm doing my Saggy Brain series, I have to get this over with before we can get on to anything else. I go over the symptoms of Alzheimer's. And then a lot of times I have a handout. And then there'll be number 1, here's a symptom. And then in big print under that it says normal. Because people say, I forget words.
Right.
You know, I'm getting Alzheimer's. Well, do the words come back to you? Oh yeah, no problem. That's just what happens with
Well,
age.
3 cups of coffee, I forget words too.
Right. Or, you know, but I keep losing my keys.
Right.
Did you find them? Oh yeah, I could go back and find, no problem. But people are, we've got 5.5 million people in this country that are diagnosed with Alzheimer's now. There's a new diagnosis every 66 seconds. So it's a big thing as you get older. Everybody knows somebody, and you're scared.
Yeah.
So the Saggy Brain series attracts a lot of attention because people are afraid. And it actually, we use the same stimulations with some very creative exercises And I just finished a series over at First Presbyterian Church here in Lakeland. And at the end, this lady came up to me and she said, "Dr. Fran, I have to tell you, I've been diagnosed with short-term memory loss. And this has helped me so much."
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It felt really good.
Well, Dr. Fran, we're out of time, but tell me, or rather tell our viewers, how they can find you and learn more about these programs that you have and how to get involved with them.
Well, we have a website,
Okay.
and it's www.memorybridges.com.
Okay.
And my email address is fran@memorybridges.com.
That's pretty easy.
That is easy. And of course, my phone number is 863-838-2433. And we're forming several groups. I work with people one-on-one, but we're also forming several groups. They'll be starting the first of the year, so we'd love to have people get in touch with me and join our group so we can help them, because we care about your mind as well as your memory.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Fran, thank you so much for being here with us. You shared a lot of great information. I hope some people reach out and get those brains tingling again.
Right.
You're watching Better with Age. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
A lady named Marcia Alley and I co-chair the Migrant Student Services ministry, and that is a ministry of our First United Methodist Church in Lakeland, Florida. And the purpose of this ministry is to identify academically talented migrant students who reside in the Mulberry area and connect them with mentors and advocates and resources that can help them accomplish their higher education objectives and succeed in life. And we do a lot to help the students and their families, and we focus on the academically talented, which really means to us those students who are A honor roll or who are A B honor roll students. And we're really pleased to work with them. The migrant community resides year-round here in Mulberry. And during the harvesting seasons, mainly the summer, they actually migrate to North Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina, and other places. And they live there, and they pay rent there while they maintain their residences here in Mulberry. So actually, for several months, they're actually paying rent in both places. Even though they aren't living here, they're maintaining their homes here. And that's an issue, and it costs money, but at least they have a place to return to when they finish their work in the fields in other states. Right now, only Hispanic. That's who we work with. But we don't have experience working with other groups, but we work only with the migrants. There might be many many Hispanic families, but they don't migrate, and so we limit our work to just the migrant families and the students. We identify the students, and we start working with them, by the way, while they're in middle school. And that would be Mulberry Middle School and then the high school. And the whole purpose of this ministry is to get our migrant farm worker students to and through college. That's our primary aim. And so we do that by focusing, mentors focus on their grades and other life issues so that they might have an easier way to get to college. And we actually have the people at the school, migrant advocates and success coaches there, who actually help the students and coach the students as they complete their enrollment applications for colleges, as well as their scholarship applications. And then they're mailed off, and we get the good word that they're admitted. We have, by the way, at this point, right now, 26 migrant farm worker students attending colleges and universities throughout the U.S. Every one of them is there on an academic scholarship, and we're really pleased with that. Otherwise, they couldn't go to college. We have right now 9 families who are mentoring 9 different migrant students. And there is no set structure to that. They do whatever they enjoy doing with the students. It's not a tutoring program. They don't need tutors. But they take them out to eat. They take them to operas and plays and theaters and events, festivals. And during all of that, there's informal conversation where they actually talk about how to get from point A to point B in their life. We have some mentors who actually meet the students at the school, and they have a 30-minute or sometimes an hour session once a week, but that's just the way that particular mentor and mentee likes to do it. We have a student who, when the mentors took her out to eat, she didn't know what coleslaw was. She didn't know what key lime pie was. And so this really helps the students understand life beyond their local migrant community.
Well, my mentee is Janet Victorino, and we mostly are getting to know each other by texting. We took the family out for a meal, and they were delightful. And after that, we haven't had a chance to do a lot of things together because she has been in Alabama working in the fields with her parents and going to school as well. But we have some plans. I talked to her, would she like to go to the symphony, and she seemed to be, very receptive to that. And new experiences. I know that we're going to go to a play together at Harrison School for the Arts in November. So we're all set for that. But other than that, we'll just hope to have some new experiences together because she's a delightful young woman. Well, I've always liked working with young people and children. I'm a retired teacher, and that's an interest of mine, my passion. And I just thought, well, they're so inspiring. When Jerry Galt came and talked to a women's group that I'm in, and I've heard him make a presentation at the church, I thought, there's a great need there, and I thought, would it be exciting to get to know them better, and if I could have any impact at all, it would be great. And so my husband and I agreed to mentor one, and then I happened to see Janet. She came into the room, and I thought, I want that one. Because we just, had a few minutes to chat together, and just seemed like it was so easy. We just got along right away.
Me originally, I already had plans for a future, but at first, middle school year, it's more like you're trying to get going with the group more than actually thinking about what you're actually doing. So instead, then during my 8th grade year, I was told I got the scholarship, and so I kind of got I knew that I had to keep my grades up, so I started doing better in school. And then they told me about who they were. My first time I met one of them was Jerry. When I went to New York and West Point to see it, and then he had given me, he said they had told me this man by Jerry, his name was Jerry Galt, had given me a bag to take with me, and then his daughter had given me some money to go spend when I was over there. And I didn't know who he was at the time. It wasn't until I came back that I got to meet him and see who he was. And just that's how I met him, and then I ended up meeting more people from him. He introduced me to more people from there. For me, my what I've wanted to do has kind of changed. Last year, I was more focused on medical for a neurosurgeon. But the problem with that was for me, I thought it was going to take very long. It was I felt it was going to be 30 or, and I just kind of this year, I still like to do it, but now my attention is going more to a business. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, and I'm not sure if it's going to change throughout it's probably going to change more than likely. So from there, I'm still I think I know what I want to do, but I'm more than positive. I'm not sure. Most valuable is mainly that. It's just the whole thing itself. Everybody just being together, working together to help us, and then for us to like not be taking advantage of it and taking the help that they give us. Well, every now and then when I talk about something, when like something I want to do, they give me a little bit more knowledge to it. Like with the, like me think, like just now a while ago, I had asked my mentor how long it would take for me to go to a medical school. And, you know, I said I thought it would be like around, I'd be around like 30 by the time, but then we calculated and then it was less time than I had actually thought. And that's one of the things that kind of kept me from doing it, so I might go back to focus on that again.
I was having trouble reconciling my own Christian values with what I knew of the plight of migrant families. And so I just started working on that issue, how to reconcile it, and finally decided I just had to get involved with it. And so I did. And it has really been a joy. And one of the things that helped me get through it was I was leading a class and somebody asked me some questions that led me to the point where I shifted my attitude from problems with immigration to advantages of immigration and how to help the people adjust and integrate more easily into the fabric of our society and its culture. One value that this has for the mentees especially is that they don't get outside their migrant community that far for lots of reasons. Some of their parents are undocumented, and so they don't want to stray too far from home and expose themselves to ugly things. And so this gives the students a chance to see the culture that they've come into, been brought into, been born into in some cases. And it just helps them learn the ropes. There's a lot to know about how this country and our system works, whether it's school or government or anything else. And this mentoring process with these mentors is a place where conversation can take place to help the kids understand what might be going on and how to function, in effect, in our society. But most of our mentees actually seek out mentors because the word is getting around, the word about the value of being mentored. And it's just not all fun and games and going places, but that's a part of it. But the students really learn, and they have another place to go and to listen to somebody who's been there before and maybe can guide them in a way that their parents might not be able to. And I'm speaking of colleges specifically. Many of the parents just don't know. They work in the fields from 6 or 7 in the morning till 8 and sometimes 9 at night, so there's not a lot of conversation about schools. So the mentors provide a valuable service in that they're guiding these kids and saving them time and money in their approach to education. I have learned how patient and kind and supportive these students are with each other. And that's really impressive. I have never heard one of these students complain about anything. And in fact, if we ask them if they need something, their usual response is, no, everything's fine. But with further questioning and with some suggestions, they say they would appreciate having whatever it is we might want to help them with. Their work ethic is outstanding, and the teachers also attest to that. And especially these academically talented students, as one teacher said, it's not that they're all so, that they have such high intelligence, it's that they also work really hard. And therein lies much of the reason for their successes. This works for mentors and who are retired because we have flexibility. Sometimes we have a little discretionary income that helps provide for some of these experiences. And we have people who have been successful for the most part and they have a need to give back and to do something else that they've never done before. And I think every mentor would tell you they get more out of mentoring the students than the students get out of being mentored. And I understand that, and that's an easy take.
I'm inspired by her, you know, her dedication. I think it helps me be a better person. It helps me be more appreciative of some of the benefits that I have had. And I just enjoy her company. We don't live that close to my grandchildren. They're in another state. And so, you know, visiting them is just occasionally. And being able to be with Janet and converse with her frequently is really exciting to me. It's a gift.
As a mentor, I become a catalyst for opportunity. And what is opportunity? Opportunity, first of all, is not charity. It's not a giveaway. It's not telling these young people what to do or how to do it, but it's for them with their skills and gifts and their hard work. They choose to grasp the opportunity that they're being offered and to fly, to develop, to go on to college if they choose so, to go on to the career that they dream of, to become independent and proud citizens of this country. Opportunity. The most valuable lesson is that I've learned how to appreciate their grit, their strength even though they're very young, their maturity beyond their years, and their desire to not only achieve and get ahead with their lives, but to serve others, especially with their families. When their families are earning below the poverty level, as they grow older, their parents grow older, they can provide for their parents and for their community.
One of the things that, in my case and other people I know, other mentors, the reason they work with these, this is one of the ways that we respond to God's love for us. We have been blessed in many ways with health, with meaningful work, with successful relationships, and we just have a need to share that. It's part of that, I guess, that self-actualization process, and that's where many of us find ourselves. And so that is why we do this. But the rewards are enormous, and the joy is just, it's just totally rewarding.
I just say if you have time and you have a passion and you love young people and you want to see them be the best that they can be, I can't think of a better way to do this and to get involved personally, you know. Writing letters and things like that, I don't think anything beats a one-on-one relationship with a young person.
The why of what I'm doing for this time of my life is really a continuation of something that I've done all my life in ministry, in the Christian ministry as a United Methodist pastor. However, the difference now is that I can do this at my own choosing and in my own time, and I'm able to bring my skills and my ministry not so much to evangelize, but to live by example of the Christ that I know and I love. And without necessarily saying religious words, I just simply live my life with these young people that I work with as a mentor and as a mentee. My satisfaction is for me to pass on the baton, to pass it on. And if I have certain skills or gifts or experiences that I can share, so much the better. But I have lived all my life, from my parents and through my ministry, with the notion that what you do with your life is to give it away. And for these young people to either choose to accept or receive what I have to offer or not. But what I'm doing for my satisfaction is to give myself away.